Hello and welcome to the school year 2020 to 2021 Unique Mealtime Needs or UMN training for school site staff. This training will cover the basics of what you need to know for the upcoming school year as it relates to your role in supporting the school nutrition team with accommodating students with unique mealtime needs. Please note that due to changes related to COVID-19, that some of the items discussed in this training may change. Additionally, each school will have a unique meal service plan, so some of these details may also vary by site. So, first question you may ask is, what do you need to know? I'm glad you asked. The items we will discuss during this training fall into three basic categories. Number one, UMN basics. Number two, allergen basics. And number three, mealtime considerations. So first, we will discuss UMN basics. So what is a UMN? A unique mealtime need is a modification or accommodation that a student needs in order to eat or drink safely or receive adequate caloric intake while they are in school. A UMN can include adaptive equipment, such as a divided plate, modified texture food, such as mechanically altered food that may be chopped or ground, and thickened liquids, which we thicken with a powder thickener, tube feeding, or accommodations for a food allergy or intolerance, such as substituting a student's peanut butter and jelly sandwich for a turkey sandwich if they happen to have a peanut allergy. We are required by federal regulations to accommodate any student with a disability that restricts their diet that also has a medical statement on file. You may also hear the term diet order when we refer to a medical statement. When we say the word disabilities, it refers to a temporary or a permanent impairment of a major life activity. These activities can include, but are not limited to, breathing, swallowing, digestion, and walking. As you can see from this list, there are quite a few people that play a role in accommodating students with unique mealtime needs. The ones highlighted in green, student, parent, teacher, teacher assistant, school nurse, and school nutrition team, are the ones that we are going to discuss a little bit further. The following are a few examples of responsibilities. This is not a full list, but some of the more important responsibilities. As it pertains to UMN management, students and parents are primarily responsible for timely communication of unique mealtime needs to the school and for ensuring students are aware of their UMN and their role in managing it as they are able to. Teacher and teacher assistant responsibilities are primarily centered around ensuring the classroom environment is safe for students with unique mealtime needs. These responsibilities are primarily related to meal and snack time, classroom activities, and field trips. School nurse responsibilities primarily make sure that the school staff is trained and supported with handling UMN students' needs. This includes planning and supervision of daily care of students with UMN and preparing and training staff who regularly care for students with UMN. The school nutrition team's responsibilities fall in several areas, including participating in the school's UMN management, preparing for and responding to unique mealtime needs, helping with daily management of unique mealtime needs, and creating and maintaining a healthy and safe school food environment. The school nutrition team is responsible for preparing modified texture foods and accommodating food allergies and intolerances, following policies and procedures that ensure safe food handling. Next, we will cover allergen basics. So let's cover a little bit more basic information about allergens. A food allergen is defined as a product or ingredient containing certain proteins that could potentially cause a severe or occasionally fatal reaction in a food allergic person. Allergen proteins are naturally occurring and generally cannot be eliminated by cooking or baking. All food allergens are proteins, but not all proteins are allergens. A food allergy occurs when the body has a specific and reproducible exaggerated immune response to certain foods. While most reactions are mild or moderate, some can be severe or even fatal. There are 8 foods containing the proteins that cause 90% of the food allergic reactions according to the Food and Drug Administration. We call these allergens the Big 8. They are milk, eggs, peanuts, tree nuts, fish, shellfish, soy, and wheat. These are the only food allergies that are tracked completely through the food processing system, meaning that we are able to guarantee that a product does not contain these allergens. A few additional notes as it pertains to allergens is that allergies and intolerances are not the same. Many people have a reaction to a food that is typically a food intolerance, and some of these symptoms typically include heartburn, cramps, belly pain, or diarrhea. An allergy causes an immune system response, while a food intolerance typically causes a digestive system response. Food allergies are a growing health concern. According to the Food Allergy Research and Education Group, 1 in every 25 adults and 1 in every 13 children in the U.S. suffers from food allergies. And keep in mind, there is no cure for a food allergy. Avoidance is the only way to prevent allergic reactions. So when we talk about reactions when it comes to a food allergy, again, keep in mind that it is an immune system response. And these responses can range from just mild discomfort to life-threatening. This is because the body mistakes the allergen protein as a harmful substance and reacts accordingly. There are currently no medications to cure food allergies. Most people experience what we call non-anaphylactic symptoms, which are usually not severe. As you can see from the list, these symptoms can affect different body systems and can include watery eyes, hives, sneezing, and pale skin. Anaphylaxis is a rare but potentially fatal condition in which several different parts of the body experience allergic reactions simultaneously. Symptoms usually appear rapidly, sometimes within minutes of exposure to the allergen, and can be life-threatening. Some of the more common symptoms are listed on the slide: itching, hives, swelling of the throat, difficulty breathing, low blood pressure, and irritability, change in mood, or confusion. A person having an anaphylactic reaction to a food allergen needs immediate medical attention. A common treatment includes injecting epinephrine or adrenaline to open up the airways and the blood vessels. The last topic we are going to cover are going to be mealtime considerations. This year, we will be labeling meals for students with unique mealtime needs. Please note that how this will look at your school will be based on your school's specific meal service plan. The school nutrition manager at your school will be able to share this information with you for your school. We will be using 2 colors for meal labeling. Meals labeled with a pink label will indicate that a meal is free from allergens. The school nutrition staff is responsible for preparing these meals and will circle which allergens the student has. For example, if a meal is for a student with a soy and egg allergy, you will see soy and egg circled on the label, which will indicate that this meal is soy and egg free. Green labels will note that a meal has a modified textured food. Again, the school nutrition staff is responsible for preparing these meals and will circle which texture the food is. For example, if a student has an order for pureed food, you will see puree circled on the label. Also, you will want to ensure that any modified textured meals picked up from the cafeteria or delivered to your classroom are consumed within 2 hours of receipt per health department standards for food safety. After 2 hours, this food must be discarded. There are 3 food textures that a student may have. Food textures are modified in order to ensure that a student can safely chew and or swallow. Note that all foods must be the same texture unless otherwise noted on a student's diet order. The first texture is puree. Food must be smooth and not have any water separation. The second food texture is mechanical soft. Pieces of food are a quarter of an inch or smaller. To help with safe chewing and or swallowing, these foods should be moist and again, like pureed food, have no water separation. The third texture is chopped or ground, and these food pieces are typically 1/4 to 1/2 inch in size. They're soft and they may vary in viscosity or thickness due to the water content of the food. Here are some mealtime classroom tips to help ensure safety and minimize allergen exposure. Number 1, establish procedures to ensure students with unique mealtime needs eat only what is brought from home or prepared by school nutrition staff. Number 2, consider serving allergen labeled meals first to minimize possible cross contact. Number 3, prohibit students from sharing or trading snacks. Number 4, teach students to ask about the safety of food before touching it or tasting it. And number 5, avoid cross-contact of foods by wiping down eating surfaces with soap and water before and after eating. Some classes may have students whose unique mealtime accommodation includes thickened liquids. If this is the case, the school nutrition team will provide the thickening agent, but liquids are thickened in the classroom. There are 3 thickened liquid consistencies. Number 1 is nectar thick. This is the thinnest of the 3, and this has the consistency of fruit nectar or vegetable juice. Number 2 is honey thick. As its name implies, the liquid would have the consistency of honey. Number 3 is spoon or pudding thick. So as its name implies, it would have the consistency of pudding and be able to mostly stick to the spoon. Please note that the thicker the consistency, the more thickener that will be required. On the slide, you see the thickened liquid mixing instructions. These instructions typically are also on the back of the packets that you would be provided if you were to thicken liquids for a student. In essence, you need to add 1 pack to 4 ounces of fluid liquid and stir for 15 seconds. You will need to allow 1 to 4 minutes for the optimal thickness to be reached. And again, you will need to adjust the amounts as needed for the prescribed viscosity. Follow the directions on the product supplied. Some students may need adaptive equipment to help support their efforts to eat safely and or independently. Examples can include sippy cups, divided plates, and weighted silverware. We are required per the health code to have these items washed daily in the kitchen and not in the classroom. Since each school service plan and timing may differ, you need to make sure that you work with your school nutrition manager to ensure compliance with this important safety requirement. If you have concerns regarding a student's unique mealtime needs, your first and best option will be to speak with the school nutrition manager at your site. They are a hub of information and will be able to determine the best next steps. Thank you so much for your time and for all you do for the students of Pitt County Schools every day. We know that this year is very different than years past, but know that we are in this together. The school nutrition team is here to help support you in any way we can to ensure that we all safely feed our students. So please feel free to reach out to your site's school nutrition manager or the School Nutrition Central Office team if you have any further questions.